Hey everyone, IntoWeapons back again with you. Have a new pistol to share with you guys today, and I know many of you have been contacting me to get this video done. I appreciate everyone's patience and promise more content on a regular basis going forward, as I no longer have a full-time day job, at least currently. Today we're looking at a pistol with some of its origins being from Romania, but being designed and most likely manufactured by Chiappa Firearms in the United States. The Nova Group out of Cugir, Romania does have markings on this receiver, but not much information is available to determine for sure who or where this firearm was assembled, as far as I know. In the manufacturer's original packaged cardboard box is the pistol. We'll go ahead and open this up and show you that there. We got that. We'll put it in safety check it, chamber inspection, good to go. We have 2 magazines, and the cardboard box here has kind of a cutout here, which is real nice tight cutting, so your pistol and all your accessories aren't going to move around too much on it. You have a pistol lock, or a trigger lock I should say, with a nice key in there. Single point sling, nylon, black, pretty inexpensive. The owner's manual, which has actually got a lot of really useful information in here, including specifications, safety obviously, loading, disassembly, has even got a schematics breakdown here, and maybe what I'll do is I'll scan this and put it up to my Facebook page so it's out there, as well as a parts list so you can do repairs and the warranty information as well. So a lot of good information there. We'll go ahead and it does have a chamber flag, I should note that as well, once you get it in to your local FFL. We'll take a closer look here at this guy, and I will say the pistol grip, this guy, the Magwell Adapter and handguard combo, feel very US made. It has superior fit and finish. It's using a clean design with a superior type of hard polymer being used. The designated model number for this pistol is PAK-9, PAK-9, with a manufacturer SKU number of 500167. And I'll go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a close-up here so you guys can kind of see that in the hopefully decent light for you. Get my hand off the pistol grip. You can kind of see the light sights line up there. Little peep sight in the back. We'll go into a little bit more of the specifications as we go into it. And maybe if I can get you a picture of that there, I'll save myself a little bit of hassle later on as I'm talking about it. But there's the markings, some of your pins and etc. Your dimples and some rails in the front trunnion, rear sight block there in the front. Your standard AKM front sight post. Here goes your Magwell adapter and handguard combo. And we'll look at that a little bit closer again later on in the video. The pistol is a blowback, single action, semi-automatic design being built on a Romanian receiver, stamped receiver provided by the Nova Group in Cugir, Romania. The receiver has the stamping marks Romania-Nova module on the left rear part of the receiver, directly below Chiappa's markings on the topmost line. And I kind of gave you guys a little view of that earlier there in the last segment. There you go, you can kind of see that again. And then the uppermost line designating the model number and caliber. The firearm stamped serial number is located on the left side of the front trunnion, where most of them are usually located. The most anticipated feature of this pistol, which makes it an unusual variant in the United States, is that it's an AK variant chambered in 9x19mm Luger, or simply referred to as 9mm in the United States. Being that it's chambered in 9mm, it comes with 2 Beretta M92 10-round magazines with a Magwell adapter, which requires no tools removed. Just the standard AK magazine release paddle releases the lever here. So if I normally, and this is something I had to get used to as I was at the range, but if you want to release a magazine, normally you got the paddle release there, which would release your magazine from the Magwell. At this point, though, what you do in this particular conversion is use the mag release button that's part of the Magwell adapter to release your Beretta or Glock magazines, depending on what adapter you'd use. And then to release the actual adapter itself, like I mentioned, there's no tools required. It's kind of nice. You would just go ahead and push it forward like you normally would, and that'll kind of release the And it's a nice tight fit here, guys. It's not coming off or coming loose or anything like that. In fact, I usually have a difficult time, at least with this one, to kind of get it up and off, and perhaps it's just the way that I'm doing it, but you can kind of see how it kind of just jumps off there, and then in the front it's kind of held together with some of the front trunnion there, and there isn't any screws or anything like that. So, and then easily back enough again, of course, per the instructions, easy enough, and of course I'll struggle with that later on as we take it off fully, but you can kind of see how easy on, easy off that is for the replacement of that Glock one as well. I assume the handguard and combo, as well as maybe the pistol grip, was designed and produced by Chiappa, but it also has a Glock magazine Magwell adapter available, which I kind of mentioned, which again is a no-tool drop-in replacement. The actual pistol is difficult enough to find online, but the Glock Magwell adapter is almost impossible to find right now. Some retailers have it listed as model number 970.446 with a retail price of $19, or I should say between $19 and $27. So as soon as that becomes available, and I've signed up for some in-stock notification emails, I'll definitely be grabbing one of those because it's certainly something that's, for the price at least, worth the investment. So there you go, you got your Beretta M92 magazine in this particular pistol with the Beretta Magwell adapter. And again, to release that magazine would just be a push of this magazine release button, which pops it loose and comes right out. Loads, feeds, and functions very well, actually. Out of the box, it has a 10+1 round capacity, but is expandable based on the particular M92 or Glock magazines being used. I believe the 30-round Beretta M92 mags run right around $30 and essentially look exactly like this, a stick magazine. They're just a little bit longer. And they're readily available through many retailers locally and online, so it is expandable pretty easily right out of the box. The provided 10-round Beretta mags that you see right here, which come with it, can be converted to 15-round capacity with an easy modification of drilling out the front and rear dimples of the magazine body, which prevent the follower, I should say, from fully seating on the magazine body as it currently stands. And as far as I understand, you can drill them out without even having to disassemble the magazine. Essentially what that does, it allows that magazine to follow past that point there all the way to the bottom, ultimately giving it additional capacity. I've only read about this particular modification, I've not attempted it myself, so please do some research on that prior to modifying your own magazines based off my internet provided knowledge. The pistol's barrel is only designed to accept center single feed double stack magazines like standard M92 or Glock magazines. Some have shown interest in converting it to accept magazines which feed from a double stack configuration, much like its full-size AK Cousins feed box, giving it the ability to use Colt magazines, for example. I've read it could be possible with a tool which is available, but I have little to no interest in doing that type of conversion to any of my firearms, mainly just because of the difficulty and the tooling and all that stuff required, and you never really know how that's going to end up for you. One nice feature to note would be that the bolt does latch back in the open position after the last round is fired out of the magazine. And I'll go ahead and demonstrate that here for you guys. And essentially what it's doing is it's resting on the empty magazine follower that you have in your magazine there, and it just kind of holds it back. But the bolt will ride forward if the magazine is removed, and I always end up tending to go to that just because I'm used to an AK magazine. But you have to remember, again, the magazine releases on this side, so I'm going to push this button, but I'm going to demonstrate while I do that on this side how the action will close as you remove it. So there you go. This is a similar design used on readily available surplus Yugo AK magazines, which provide the same last round hold open feature when being used with any AKMs in 7.62x39. Not an official bolt hold open feature, but a nice way to know when you hit an empty at the range. The retail price for the PAK-9 is right around $420 plus shipping, fees, taxes, transfer fee, and background check if required. My pistol was ordered online from one of the larger online retailers in the firearms market and was shipped to my local FFL for transfer and background check within a few days of ordering. Due to difficulty in finding product availability, if you are really wanting to purchase this pistol, I recommend having the funds available at a moment's notice, signing up for an in-stock alert at as many retailers as possible, and jumping on the first email notification you receive of availability. I had to repeat that process 3 times with 3 different retailers, the third actually being processed as available. Product availability seems to disappear quickly for this variant, which I'm not sure if is from a lack of availability from product from Chiappa or such high demand for the product itself. From the lack of information, reviews, pictures, or videos available currently, I would lean towards the former, lack of product availability for distribution to retailers. It does come with a 1-year warranty from time of purchase, which is at least nice to have at minimum. But with such a hard-to-find pistol and most likely repair parts as difficult to find, if not impossible, having something break after a 1-year period should be a serious consideration to a novice buyer, especially if needing to pay high gunsmithing fees for a potential repair. The barrel length on the pistol is 6.3 inches, or a little under, or 160 millimeters, and the muzzle is not threaded, as you can see there. But the outer diameter of the unthreaded muzzle is 0.539 inches, I should say. So it should be able to be threaded to 1/2 by 28, concentric to the bore, with the right tools and a bit of skill, and sometimes luck. From what I read, it would be possible using a vise, obviously to hold the pistol, an annular cutter to take the outer diameter down to an exact 1/2 inch, using a 9mm bore guide on a 1/2 by 28 die to slowly thread the end of the muzzle. It doesn't appear to have protective coating, or I should say it doesn't appear to have a chrome-lined barrel, but may have another type of protective coating used, as it has a darker appearance than both chrome-lined and non-chrome-lined barrels in my collection, and I'm sure you're not going to be able to see that with the current lighting conditions that I have down here, but you have to take my word on that, I guess. The overall length is 14.25 inches, or 362 millimeters, and includes a sling attachment mounted on the rear of the receiver, but the sling mount is not a quick-detach design, keep in mind. Using a clamshell design, the pistol grip is made from what seems to be a quality black hard polymer with raised ribbing on both sides and back for grip improvement. It also has Yugo M70 style finger grooves on the front of the pistol grip. The grip is held in place with a standard AK block style fitted nut inside, and looks like it can be replaced with other standard AK pistol grips. Again, a clamshell design is used for the one-piece design lower handguard and Magwell adapter for the receiver magazine opening. It is made of the same material and uses the same aesthetic design of the pistol grip, including the raised gripping ridges along the sides where your hand rests, as well as a Picatinny rail standard with an included hand stop pre-mounted on the front of the rail for hand slip prevention. It uses a standard 1mm thick stamped receiver with shortened support dimples on both sides, and I'll give you guys kind of a picture of those cute little guys right there. Both sides. There you are. The receiver shows the reference marks for the 4 little pins, I believe, which is that little Y there, or a little cutout reference point there. But serve no practical use stateside except for a few dozen people, lucky people, who have the proper licensing. Front sights are a standalone front sight block housing, standard fully adjustable for windage and elevation, AKM post, also known as blade, and a half globe shroud. And that's a pretty similar design for a lot of AKs on the market that don't have the integrated gas block in the front sight block as well, which ends up being a little bit further back on the barrel. So I like to see that it's fully adjustable. They didn't kind of make it a fixed sight, which a lot of companies end up doing sometimes just to cut corners or save costs. So that's really nice to see. The rear sight has a familiar design for the sight picture, using a notched peep view of the front sight blade, but is a Picatinny mounted and easy to remove if desired. And I'll hopefully be able to kind of show you guys that peep sight there, the sight acquisition, sight picture I should say. So it's got a familiar design in that regard. Try to get a little bit more of a close-up for you there. As you notice, the rear sight sits to the rear position of the dust cover on the rail, and the actual dust cover is attached and pinned at the front trunnion in normal rear sight location, which gives it a hinged operation for opening and connecting your dust cover and upper Picatinny rail, similar to the Yugo PAP M92 AK pistol or Bulgarian Krinkov variant. And I'll kind of demonstrate that action here. So if you got your firearm here, you go ahead and safety check it. But then we'll go ahead and pop this dust cover up, and you'll notice that it again being hinged on the front there, where the rear sight block is normally mounted. You'll be able to hinge it all the way up, and that way you have any optics mounted on here. You won't technically need to re-zero if you field strip, clean, or do whatever you need to do to get inside your gun there, and then remount your dust cover. Hopefully everything should still be zero. The top part of the front trunnion, by the rear sight block, there are two 2.25-inch rail sections mounted by machine screws on either side. It retains the pin holding the dust cover in place, and also allows mounting of lasers, flashlights, or other accessories. And it's always nice to have a little extra rail here and there if you need it. You can kind of see how it's held in place, as well as overlapping where that pin goes through to hold that hinged dust cover. Overall, the firearm feels very solid, well designed, and a bit heavier than what I anticipated, which is usually a good sign for an imported pistol of this type at its current retail price. Besides the sling attachment, I hear no rattling or loose parts anywhere when I shake the gun, which is a nice sign as well. The pistol grip and handguard mag adapter combo are well fitted and have well designed reinforcements internally for longevity. The finish seems to be similar to the more prevalent Wasser stateside, and I wouldn't expect any problems with rusting, flaking, or discoloration. You will notice standard wear patterns from the safety selector, as well as possible finish wear on the dust cover where the safety selector rubs against it. And you'll kind of see here my finish kind of wore off a little bit there. Hopefully you can kind of make that out, and the safety even kind of dinged up the selector there a little bit, which is fine. Just kind of putting it into the position that it needs to be in. Other than that, those areas, expect minor scratches and blemishes to accumulate with use like many other variants on the market. It's not uncommon. You'll find, just little scratches, dings, and dents here and there. Nothing really to be concerned about. The operation of the action feels just like a standard AK and performs as such, excluding the interior plastic buffer behind the bolt carrier to shorten the action cycle, allowing blowback operation with the 9mm cartridge and maybe the not-so-pleasant fire control group. And I'll kind of demonstrate again just the action of chambering around when you get the magazine in there. Very, very similar to an AK, just a little bit shorter of a stroke comparatively. You have your safety selector again, very easy. The actual trigger has a lot of travel, a hard-to-define breaking point, and a sloppy reset. The owner's manual is very, I think the first thing I listed is do not dry fire the firearm, so I don't want to provide you an example of that, unfortunately, right now at this point. But as a plus, the fire control group is nearly identical to that of its full-size cousin in 7.62x39, so trigger work should be easy with a little bit of know-how and the right tools. If you need some info on that, check out my AK trigger job tutorial linked in the description below. But I did want to give you a quick demonstration here of, we'll pop open this dust cover, we'll take out this recoil spring there, we'll pull out the buffer, and this is that plastic buffer I mentioned. And I saw this being used in a couple other firearms, including my AKT 98, which is a 22 long rifle Romanian trainer. In fact, it may even be identical to this. And one thing I always do when I take this out is I make sure I put it kind of down and on the table into the position that I have the firearm in which it needs to go back in. Generally because I always put it in the wrong way. I can never figure it out. It takes me 5-10 minutes and it's just a big pain. So if we go ahead and remove the bolt carrier and bolt, which is a one-piece design, I'll just kind of give you just a real quick close-up of that. As you can see, it's finished all the way through, which is nice. I did want to show you the fire control group as an example to the similarity that it has with, again, its full-size AK cousin. And of course, this is not going to be an easy thing to do with my lighting situation. But well, that might work for you guys. Hopefully you guys can kind of at least make out the fire control group there a little bit and identify that it is similar to the AK-47. That might do a little bit better for you. Well, hopefully that helps you guys. During the initial test firing of this pistol yesterday, I had an operational failure due to an undersized or non-existent retaining pin which holds the actual spring-loaded firing pin within the bolt. The retaining pin is inserted into the correct position on the firing pin for retention via channel on the underside of the one-piece bolt. And I'll just point that out here real quickly. See that little hole there? That's essentially where that retaining pin goes in and holds the firing pin within the firing pin channel. As my friend mentioned to me, the design of how this pistol retains the firing pin within the bolt may also be the reason the owner's manual is very specific not to dry fire this firearm. Much like most 22 long rifle firing pins, the primer of a chambered round absorbs most of the pressure caused by the striking firing pin, eliminating the potential stress on the firing pin itself. Undue stress on the firing pin from being released with no primer to cushion its forward momentum can damage or break from the stress of an uncushioned firing pin release. In this case, without a chambered round, the firing pin would smash against the retaining pin holding it in place, as there would be no primer to stop or slow its forward travel. And as an example, here is the actual firing pin that we found within the receiver, and I'll kind of mention that again or show you on the video in future segments here that it fell out, but what retains it is that pin, and that pin essentially goes into this channel here. Hopefully this is coming out for you guys, and then it goes back and forth. Now if there's no primer to stop the forward travel of that, that pin is essentially taking all of that punch from this firing pin going back and forth on it. So I don't know, maybe if it could shear it off, or again if it was just undersized, or maybe perhaps mine didn't have one. That's also a possibility. Chiappa, or the manufacturer, had the foresight to provide a firing pin recoil spring and it's kind of built in there more or less. I haven't been able to pop it out, but as you notice, I'll kind of push it in here and ping, she shoots right back out again. There's just a spring loaded in there. And that's prevalent AK design with some variants on the market, such as Chinese AK rifles, Bulgarian AK rifles and pistols, as well as a few others. The design can assist in preventing firing pin failure from too much stress, puncturing a primer from over travel of the firing pin, and potentially, although pretty uncommon with the AK pattern, an uncontrolled string of rounds being discharged without pulling the trigger each time. This is called slam fire and caused by the firing pin being stuck in the forward or fire position without returning to its sitting position or non-firing position, usually due to corrosion or dirt buildup within the firing pin channel. So essentially the thing is just getting stuck in that channel that it sits in. Or over travel of the firing pin, which can get jammed into the hole of the bolt face for the firing pin. So if you imagine that that firing pin there is, you know, deformed or perhaps even soft metal, and it travels forward into this bolt face hole, the firing pin hole there, and it just gets stuck. Essentially, it doesn't return to its rearward position. The latter can be avoided by inspecting your firing pin head regularly and ensuring it's undamaged and minimally deformed. The shooting range video footage at the end of this unboxing segment will unfortunately have to be my range report until the issue is resolved. The firing pin actually came loose within the receiver during our initial test fire after approximately 25 rounds through it. We searched the shooting area to be able to recover the lost retaining pin, but were unable to locate it. The pin should be a simple repair, but I have yet to determine if I have a pin of that size or if one can be easily had, which I'm sure is most likely the case. The owner's manual does provide a lot of valuable information, like I mentioned in the beginning of the video, where most US and foreign-made AKs wouldn't normally have in their owner's manual. For instance, it provides that full specifications, disassembly, cleaning, reassembly, exploded schematic view with numbered parts, and a correspondence parts list with a total of 77 individual part numbers. Fortunately, Chiappa warranties this firearm for 1 year from the date of purchase, but I plan to only use it as a last resort as I'm really itching to get this pistol back out to the range for some more fun. The first 20 flawless rounds to this pistol was a much better experience than I anticipated. Very little recoil, and it took very little effort to hit the steel target at 25 yards, as you'll see. Using the open iron sights out of the box, at least, too. It has a decent weight to it, yet is ergonomic enough and packaged in a way which feels very similar to most other AK pistols in 7.62 by 39. In my opinion, excluding the firing pin retaining pin problem, which I wouldn't hold against Chiappa as things like pins do fail sometimes, it's an awesome pistol for the price and an excellent candidate for being a short-barreled rifle with the correct paperwork. I believe it also has above-average potential for being a valuable collector based on future product availability from Chiappa and other competitors with similar products for nearly 3 times the cost of the PAK-9 currently. For any AK collector, it's a must-have, or at least it was for me. I'm excited to see if Chiappa can deliver on this model and others that it has lined up for 2016 and into early 2017, as it would certainly bring a unique and long-awaited product to the U.S., which many enthusiasts, including myself, have been waiting for. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to let me know. Otherwise, enjoy the following range footage, with hopefully more soon to come, guys.
that? Is that hitting? No,
Nope.
There's no
reset of the trigger. Oh boy, that's not good. We're getting a feed, but we're not getting a reset of the trigger. That's my last round of that mag here. Let's switch over to this other mag, see what happens. We'll try that second mag.
Oh shit. 3 good ones, that's not too good.
I think we got a problem.
That's like, it's like the bolt's not resetting the trigger.
Now I've got a jam with the. It's almost like the magazine isn't. Yeah, something's wrong. So we broke it down here. I stripped it apart because we were having the failure to fire, essentially. I thought it was a reset of the trigger, and I didn't see a firing pin in the bolt carrier here. So I took a look, and I hadn't moved this exactly. This is exactly how I found it. And I was wondering, what is that thing? And clearly, it is the firing pin laying inside of the receiver. So that's a very interesting development. I've never seen that. I don't know how that's even possible. But clearly that's what's causing my malfunctions. And I have no idea why. Alright guys, I'll give you an update on that if I figure it out. Alright, so what we think happened here is there's a pin that drifted itself loose here on the bolt carrier, which holds in the actual firing pin and allows it to travel a certain distance here, essentially like that. And the pin came out, and this must have slid backwards as the bolt carrier was moving forward, and then somehow jammed down in the receiver like that, as it came back and pushed it forward. So unfortunately we can't find this pin, so I'm kind of screwed here to repair the gun. I'll have to send it to Chiappa or have them send me a pin for it. But it does look like a pretty simple fix. I might even have a pin that'll work. We'll have to see. So until I can get it fixed, I appreciate watching. Until next time, take her easy.